Now that we are set up with Postman, let's go through the basics of OCL's API. First, it helps to understand OCL's structure. Much like GitHub, OCL has organizations and users that can own content. Users can belong to organizations to manage content on their behalf. Repositories, including sources and collections, are where resources can be stored. Resources include concepts and mappings. Repositories and resources can all be versioned in case updates are made and someone wants to track those. For example, a concept can get updated with an attribute, which will appear in the newest version, but not the older version of the concept. Each repository will have a head version, which is like the workspace to edit it until a version is ready to be made. Now we can try some example queries to get some OCL owners. Let's look up some organizations in OCL. Here, we can see the first 25 orgs in OCL. We'll talk about how to use paging later in case we want to see the other orgs. We're going to use CL as our example organization and source for the rest of this demonstration. Let's look up details about the CL organization. Here, we can specify CL as the org. And when Postman sends off a GET request, it will replace this :org string with CL. Let's go ahead and do that and see details about the CL organization. Now let's see the sources that CL has. Oh, we have to remove the parameters here. These parameters can be filled in if you want, but for this demonstration, we won't use them quite yet. As you can see, CL has 3 sources: CL, SNOMED UK, and SNOMED NDP. We could also, if we want, change sources up here to collections instead to see what collections CL has. Once we send that off, we see that it only has 1 collection, at least in this production environment that we're using. Now, let's get some concepts. Here, you can see the first 25 concepts in the CL source. You can also go to the header to get more information, such as the number of concepts found, the number returned, or how many pages there are. We're currently on page number 1. If we wanted to change concepts to mappings, we could do that up here. Now, we can see the first 25 mappings from the CL organization. Once again, we can check the header and see that there's a couple 100,000 mappings in total, but we're only getting the first 25 here. If we have a specific concept or mapping that we want to see, we can see even more details about it. We are going to use an HIV positive concept, and that code is what I've just pasted in here. And here we can see the details about that specific concept, including its names and descriptions. It can have more than 1 description. And if it had extra attributes, you'd be able to see those here too. But for now, those remain an empty bracket. Note that OCL's mappings can be queried in the same way, meaning they can be found in repositories similarly to how we just did concepts. Now that we have shown how to get resources out of OCL, let's quickly show how you can create resources using OCL's API. You will, of course, need to be logged in or have the API token to do this. We can use a post request to create a new source that is owned by the user. Let's try creating a source under our dummy user that we created earlier. Here is where we can specify a source under our user endpoint. To do this, we need to paste some text into the body of the request. We're going to select raw and JSON so that we can paste JSON that will be our source. Now I pasted this JSON here for our fake source. And now you can see our returned fake source. We can also use a post request to create concepts or mappings in that source. Let's try creating a concept real quick. Once again, we're going to paste our content into the body using JSON, but we do have to specify which source we're posting to under our user. So we will specify fake source here. And now you can see our created concept in OCL. It resides within our source, which is fake source. We can also edit existing resources. Using the source we just created, let's change some of its attributes. Maybe we can give it another extra attribute too. We can use a put request to edit these resources. Once again, we will be pasting our JSON into the body here. And you can see that we're only editing a couple of attributes, its name, its full name, and an extra attribute. And then once again, we're specifying that this goes to fake source. And now you can see our source, which has been updated to have a new name, a new full name, and a different set of extra attributes. Notice that we had a different extra attribute before, so this new put statement has overwritten the extra attribute here. There are many more things you can do with OCL's API, including deleting resources, so feel free to play around with all of these API calls, preferably in the demo environment. Now that we've created and edited our OCL resources, you may want to do some advanced searching, filtering, or other things. In our next video, we'll go over OCL's API parameters along with searching.